Hello, it's Rachel Haskins with Ideally Crazy, and today I have another special guest.
Sha-Rese Moore.
This is Mrs. Sha-Rese Moore, and you guys know I always say that if I know my guests, I just call them by their name. And so I call her Sha-Rese.
Yes.
Sha-Rese is part of my church family. I've literally known her, probably, I might should say, she's known me my whole entire life.
Absolutely.
I always looked up, I had certain people in the church that I would look up to as a little girl because they were like, I would say trendsetters, but not just in the way of like clothing and stuff like that. I always admire women that are about their business. And Sha-Rese is one of those people. I watched her go to school, build her family and build her life and just keep traveling. Even now, like how she keeps traveling and moving to different cities. You know, people that I always say I take advice or I admire people with people, not that you would actually trade positions with, but that you could see your life going a little bit like that.
Yes.
And so I like to move around. You guys know that I always, I remember when I had started my job that I'm at currently, I was a traveler before. And I told him, I said, I don't say too much long. I said, because I have too much love just to stay in one place. That's how I describe it. And so I love to move. But they say, not everyone that wanders is lost. Sometimes we're just, you know, our gifts are needed in different areas.
Absolutely.
And so we travel around showing our gifts and spreading what God has given to us so that we can help others. And Sha-Rese is exactly that type of person. Then I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself.
Awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So like she said, I have moved around a lot. Grew up here in Louisville, Kentucky, but my job took me to different cities, and I'm just not afraid to try anything. So my family, we have lived in Dallas, we have lived in Atlanta, we have lived in Nashville, Chicago, multiple parts of Chicago, north and in the south suburbs. So yeah, we just pick up and go wherever it is. But I have met some awesome people along the way. So I feel like that was supposed to be my path that God had me on.
Absolutely. What I love about that, two things that stuck out to me. One, what she just said is that she isn't afraid, she isn't afraid to travel. And it's not, you have to be able to be willing to go ahead and do it. Yes. That's the things, most of the things that are going to happen in your life, because you guys know Ideally Crazy is a podcast about seeing yourself through God's eyes. And once you do that, you can get the things that God has for you. And so a lot of times when God has something for you, it may not be in just one place. And in order, even when you read the Bible, he will tell you to go to it and go after it. Yes. And so that is the way that I feel like a person can live a life fulfilled, because just traveling out the country on vacation, I would come back and tell my daddy, I would be like, the world's too beautiful. Because at first, that's how I got him to go out the country. I said, now, you worried about aliens. I said, the world is too beautiful. I said, there's stuff here that I know that God wants us to see.
Right.
I mean, he created it. Why would he not want us to see it?
Absolutely.
And definitely that. And then with your gifts and talents, when he puts something in you need it in multiple places because he's put that much in you. And if you are willing, what I've learned is the more that I'm willing to share whatever it is that I have with others, the more God gives me.
Absolutely.
And so those to me, in my opinion, those to me that travel around, they have a lot. God has put a lot into them for them to go and give to others. And the reason why they have so much is because he keeps giving them more. Because there's no end to God.
Yes.
But you guys know that I don't waste a lot of time, so I'm gonna jump right into the questions. Okay. Growing up in our childhood church community, what early lessons about faith, service, or identity shaped who you are today?
Absolutely. So growing up in church, we had a very firm foundation. And I can say, even with that firm foundation, even if I didn't understand everything growing up, it's like, why do we have to do this? And why, I appreciate it so much, because growing up and leaving and going away to college and meeting different people, my foundation has never changed. So that firm foundation of my relationship with God, even though it has grown so much, from when you first, as a child, learned those things about prayer and seeing my grandmother praying. And I'm like, Lord, she could pray all night. When she be like, 24-hour prayer, what is going on? I ain't going to do all that. But now I understand, because I already know that the prayers that my grandmother prayed, I've seen things in fruition come to pass that she prayed. And so I understand now how important it is to have a strong prayer life. And when you leave the nest and you be like, oh, I can't wait to go, and those things come to test you, you remember that let me get on my knees and pray about this because something ain't right, or Lord, I don't want to go outside your will. So definitely that prayer and talking to God, that has stayed with me throughout everything.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, we are church family, and we come from a very strong foundational church. And I was going to mention her grandmother because her grandmother is one of my mama's favorite people.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
we call her Sister Booker.
Yes.
And so I heard so much about Sister Booker growing up, and like even how Sister Booker was and how devout she was in her faith, how it, it influenced my mother and with her walk in Christ. And like she said, 24-hour prayers. And when they say 24-hour prayer, I mean,
Yes.
what do we call them?
In it, honey.
When we go into church and stay there the whole time.
Yeah, they in the shut-in.
The shut-ins.
Shut-in, prayer shut-in.
And they don't leave their kids at home when they go to shut-in. You coming with them.
Right, we won't be sleep on that back bench, but we in there.
We in there. We be sleep, playing, and do whatever else. We keep it down, though. Right. But we will be in those shut-ins with them. But what I loved is about just the environment alone. Yeah, like she said, we might be sleep, we might be playing. But what we did, children watch what you do more than what you say. And so we learn how to build a relationship with Christ. Like she said, the first thing I do when I'm approaching anything is God, I put it before God. And I think this year has gotten so much easier for me because I've learned even quicker now. Look, God, here it is. Right. Every worry, every concern, God, here it is.
Here it is.
You guys know I had told, me and my friends had just came out of a fast, something that I got from, like she said, our foundation. Because when you want something different from God, you got to do something different.
Absolutely.
And it's not that I'm earning what he gives me, because I can never earn the things that he gives me, but it's my way of getting serious and getting closer to him and weaning out everything so that I can hear from him.
Yes.
Because I'm looking for something. If you're looking for something, your action should always show that you're looking for something.
Yes.
If you keep doing the same thing and you're looking for something, then you're not really looking. So when I'm trying to hear from God, I get closer to him, which means I start cutting off certain things for a period of time. And I devote myself to him. I do that through prayer, through fasting. Like every part of my life, I even control it. And even like she said, the people that that raised us taught us, even with your TV watching, there are certain things I don't watch. Some of them wouldn't watch TV at all during that time. But there are certain things that I wouldn't watch on TV.
Yes.
But I did just recently come out of a fast, and when I tell you I felt the renewing of my spirit, it's just like things were different. And it's not that during my fast, because the devil wants to tempt you. It's not that during my fast that things didn't approach me, because they did. Like my little girl went through something because her boyfriend got killed. And I was like, I remember during my fast, I'm like, then God, I'm in this fast. What's going on here? Like, this ain't supposed to be happening. And just understanding that things are going to happen, but what he's doing, he's strengthening you. He's giving you all the things that you need to take care of and to receive all the things that he's about to give to you.
Yes.
And I was listening to, you guys know I listen to a lot of motivational people, speakers, and which can be leaders and pastors. But Sarah Jakes, her last name is something different right now, but I can't remember right now.
Roberts.
But she was Sarah Roberts. Okay, because I always want to be respectful to people's unions. She said, God, he doesn't place you and then prepare you. He prepares you and then place you. So when I thought about my fast, I said, and that just spoke to me. Certain things gotta let speak to your spirit. I said, I understand, God, you are preparing me for the places that you're going to put me in and the positions you're going to put me in.
Yes.
And that alone gave me joy. You know what I'm saying? Because it meant there was more that was coming. So when you say that our church community, everything I am, every part of my foundation is because of what I learned in the church, and then learn how to put into effect what we were taught and what we seen.
That's what I said. You didn't really understand then, but when you get older, you be like, I might should go pray about this.
I might should go pray about it, and it gives you.
If you don't try it your way and it don't work, it's like, let me go try my grandma's way.
Let me go. She knew something. As I said, she knew something. Like, cause my best friend said to her daughter, she said, when I started learning she said, I would just do stuff too. She said, I went through all kind of stuff when I would just do stuff. She said, but when I started learning, like you said, to go to God first, and same thing here. When I started learning to go to God first, things just start working out better. You know what I'm
Better,
saying? And
yes.
even things that it doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I do everything right. But even when
Right.
I'm about to mess up some things, he'll block. And I'm like, you know what, God, thank you.
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
I was overly going. I was overly going for it. You hear me?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I thank God for that, because without that, where would I be? That I always say that Christ is one of the best things that I've ever given my children, and that my parents has given me. It is not one of, it is the
It
best thing. So
is.
I thank God for, like she said, our grandmothers and our mothers who had a strong relationship with God, because it definitely left a mark on us and the path that we will walk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What is one childhood memory from church or family that still influences the way you show up in the world now?
So, childhood memory, I feel like love. Because even in our church community, I've, like you said, moved around a lot, but it don't matter how long I've been gone. When I come back, I feel the love. And I feel like that is something that we've learned, to accept people and to love them through anything. And we're not perfect. Like you said, I've messed up a bunch of times, but I've never not felt love. Even when I messed up and they get this letter, let me talk to you about that. Even when you get the correction's done in love. And so I feel like that's what I've learned to love people through things, accept people, and do not judge, because you don't know what you would do if the shoe was on the other foot. You don't know. So I'm not going to judge you on that. But I feel like love is the one thing, definitely for my family and my church, that has, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I always say the foundation of everything is built off love, because God is love.
He is love. Absolutely.
And like she said, unconditional love. When you love somebody, you don't love them because they do this or do that. You love them because that's how God loves us. And when we say unconditional love, that is it. That is what is expected of us. Now we're not perfect, and we have to work to it. But just know that is the expectation.
Yes.
I like you said, my family, my friends, I love you unconditionally. It doesn't matter what you do, and so it shows up in my action. I'm not gonna fly off the handle with somebody that I love. I might tell you how I feel or whatever else, but that love does not change.
Absolutely.
And along with love comes grace.
Yes.
And so, like she said, from that love, even because I mess up all the time, I'm always able to forgive. Because one thing I always say is that one person I'm always able to forgive is me. And so I always say that people that have a hard time forgiving, the real person that they're having a hard time forgiving is themselves.
That's it.
And so people that forgive themselves, we don't really have a hard time forgiving other people, because even when I want to be like, well, why would they do so? I kid you not. I thank God for the Holy Spirit. He will quicken you and show you in your mind why you having that thought, something that you did that was similar, and it will literally humble you. You be like, you know what, God, you right. You know what I'm saying?
I did do something like that.
I did do something like that. I get it. And so I thank God for that, because the more people love themselves, and love is so important, the more love they're able to give to somebody else. And I do believe that's one thing that keeps us light in spirit. And Sha-Rese, when you come around, just even her energy, you can't, that's one thing, you can't fake stuff like that. And I'm one of the people I can pick up on stuff, because as a child, being around a lot of people, I always had to be able to discern. And even when I came in the house tonight, you can just feel like her spirit is so sweet and joyful and welcoming and just humble. Like, another word I would also use about her is humble. And it's even in her act, like she doesn't talk. One reason I always want to get people on her is because I have people like Sha-Rese, and they have such great stories, and God had such great testimonies, and God has done such great things in their life, but they're so humble that they don't say anything about it. No. But I want people that are maybe like her, like even, other guests that are shy or different like that, to see people like her, to know like, all kind of people, because it is my true belief that each voice speaks to a different spirit.
Absolutely.
And even though I'm encouraging you to go after the things that God has for you, my first encouragement is to come to God. And so that's what thing you always see in every relationship and my guess is that they all have a relationship with God. Absolutely. And a strong belief in Him.
Yes.
And so we're telling you right there, people are like, oh, well, nobody even tells us what to do. I can't give you the A, B, C to you, but you know who can? God. That's why I'm directing you to Him. And so I do that in many different ways. I do that by my guests. I do that in my giving. Whatever it is that I can do to help you get to God, I know He got what you need. Only reason why I know is because that's where I go every time I need something.
Absolutely.
I told people this Christmas, they was like, what can I get you? Even I was like, I don't want nothing. I didn't want nothing from nobody. That's because of what I really want. Only person can give it to me is God.
It's God.
I said, I don't, I thank you for your gifts. I thank you for your consideration. And I was just as happy because I mean, the only person, and I know it's mine. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Here's the thing. After this fast, I don't have to have a worry in the world. I'm so laid back because I know what it is that I want. And I know that the only person can give it to God, but I already know that it's mine. I love having people on here because I want them to tell you what our God has given them and that it is yours. You don't have to be like, well, does she really know she's talking to you? I'm putting one person after the next in front of you that is telling you their own story, and we all can't be lying. So you say you've tried everything. Well, her grandmother would say, you've tried everything. Now try Jesus.
Try Jesus.
Try Jesus.
That is for sure.
Earning both your MBA and DBA is phenomenal.
Thank you.
What inspired you to pursue advanced education at such a high level, and how did faith guide you along that journey?
So I always knew that I would get a master's degree, didn't know that I would get a doctorate degree. And so kind of when I earned the master's and I started teaching at higher ed, and that was by not really, I knew like later in life, like, oh, when I retire from my job, then I want to teach college. I didn't know that was going to be my career now. I thought that meant later on. But like you said, you don't know where God's going to flip and change things. And so I knew then, I was like, well, I need to get a higher, degree or whatever. But definitely my faith played, because that was probably one of the most difficult things. People call it academic hazing because you really think you're doing so good. And honey, they were red pen you. And you be like, oh, I thought I knew how to write. It's humbling. It's humbling. It is. And so definitely a lot of nights that I prayed. And it took me a long time because I moved a lot. In there, we had some other family stuff going on. And so I took breaks, but I was like, Lord, this is something you told me to do. You put in front of me. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going even when it gets hard. And it was funny because I even got my mom to do it, because I said, Mom, we were just talking one day and was like, what is something you wish you had done that you didn't? And she's like, you know what? I really wish I would got my doctor. I was like, come on, let's do it together. Probably about a year in, I was like, why did I tell my mama to do this? Why? This is terrible. Right. I was like, who does this to their mama?
Look, man, I got to.
We both stressed out.
I remember I remember ain't married.
Yes. Who stresses their mama out like this? But it was fun for us to do it together, going to our residency together, stuff like that. It really was fun. And she got better at me researching and finding articles and back. I said, look at you, find me some.
I know it helped me.
Yes, help me, mama. So it was funny, but it was something that we did together, that we can go back and laugh on and sometimes cry about. We both was like, oh my God. So, but definitely prayer and faith, because at times I was like, I don't know about this guy. We prayed and you said get on this path, but I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm going to be one of them people that be ABD, all but a dissertation. I did the classes, but I ain't. He was like, yes, you are going to write this.
You going to finish it.
You going to finish it. Yes, you are going to finish it. And I'm like, okay, let me go back here. A couple of days, honey, I done threw that thing over to the side. And I was like, okay, 3 days, there it is. Let me get it back out, bring it back over and start typing again. So, but that was a journey with my mama.
I can identify with some. I don't have my master's yet, or my doctorate, but I can identify with, like you said, academic hazing, because that's one thing people say about nursing school. And nursing school is academic hazing, and they really are. They're trying to wean people out that are not going to be strong enough, because and we have to take care of people. So I do understand a little bit. Sometimes I do think they take it a little bit too far, but I understand a little bit, because you're dealing with many different people, different. I mean, it's just so many different aspects to nursing, working with the physicians, working with the patients, working with the patients' families, working with the other specialties, like rehab, social workers. So you have to be, I always say there's a part of nursing for everybody, but if you're going to be hands-on with people, there's a certain, and even in any part of nursing, even if you're educated, there has to be a certain type of dog in you where you just don't let go. And I love it because what you said is you just kept going. And I do that too. Like if I get stressed about, I don't care what it is, I put it to the side. If it's listen, if it's work, if it's a relationship thing, if it's a friendship thing, I will put it aside till I can feel like dealing with it again. I'm like, okay, all right. And it's not that, because I know I'm like, if one thing I kind of tell myself is, sometimes we have stuff going on in our mind and we need to bring it to ease because we know that normally things comes to us with ease once we can calm our spirits.
Calm it down.
And sometimes you just need a little break.
Gotta take a break.
Take a break.
I need to hit it. No, I need to clear my mind.
I need to
do something different that I'm,
and it works every time.
Yes.
And she knows because she's finished. And it works.
I love the nursing students. Our school used to be in the same building with the nurses.
Okay.
Chamberlain College of Nursing. Yes. I love the nursing students. They were so studious. So they had a business class that was in their curriculum, just this one business. When I tell you I had a whole class full of nurses, they were so nervous about that. I said, y'all, if y'all can do anatomy and that, this class is going to be a breeze. But I promise you, before class started, I probably got 5 emails from saying, I'm used to nursing. I'm used to health. I'm not used to business. I'm so nervous. I'm like, do not be. But when I tell you aced, everybody got, I said, I love these students. Everybody got an A in this class.
That's the type of teacher you are, too.
But no, the nursing students were so in the hallway. They be in groups. I be like, listen.
We do not play.
Y'all bleed over to these business students. But yeah, the nursing students definitely have that rigor and that determination. Because I know it wasn't easy for you.
Oh, absolutely.
I know it. It's not.
And like she said, all them emails, because I'm like, I want you to, we will tell you almost every little detail.
Yes.
I mean, I want you to know.
Yes.
My supervisor, any little thing that if I'm trying to explain to her, sometimes if I feel like the email is not going to be enough details, I will call and leave a voicemail because I want to paint a picture of what is actually going on. I don't want her to have to question anything.
Right.
Look, I am concerned. I'm worried. I want you to know that I'm doing my best. I want you to know I'm not taking this easily. Like, I want you to know I am trying.
Absolutely.
And I think like sometimes I think it's nursing school, the actual nursing program that does us like it because they like beat on us like detail. Like they are so hard on us.
Yes.
And so when we go into other subject and other things, we're just like, we'll own it. And like she said, it's like the teacher or the professor, they'll be like, calm, like,
because I was like, are y'all really, this is like business 115, it's the first level business. I promise y'all it's going to be okay. If y'all can do them you can handle this one. So I already know it's not easy being a nurse.
You get
that school of this. So I was like, ooh, wee. But yeah, that was one of my best classes.
I'm glad to hear it.
I said, everybody got an A.
I love
everybody got an A.
I know that's right. And then her being a teacher, her personality, like I hope you can see it a little bit through how she is, how she would be a perfect teacher. Like, I wouldn't be afraid to go to her. I wouldn't be afraid to ask her questions. And you need teachers and educators like that because there's no stupid question. But there are some people that they have a spirit where you like, it's okay to ask them. You know they don't mind helping you. And we need educators like that. And I thank God for because he always puts us in positions where it fits our personality. He knows what we're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I want to say a shout out to my nursing sisters that are still students. Keep going. I know that it's hard.
Yes.
Do not give up. Don't even if you have to pause, try not to pause. But even if you have to pause, come back at it.
Come back.
And I want you to know that God always, anything he starts, anything he brings you to, he will bring you through. So it is not him that's telling you to stop or do not do it. That's not the spirit of God because anything he starts, he's finished. He's a finisher.
He
completes things.
Absolutely.
And so don't let nobody tell you nothing because there are going to be thoughts in your mind and say, I can't do this. That's a lie. Rebuke it and move on.
Yes.
And my family, where there is a will, there is a way. Mm-hmm. And so and here's the thing, what I love about God is you don't have to figure out everything. Mm-hmm. You pray, stay on your knees, and nursing school will keep you on your knees. Mm-hmm. Lord, I know there's a way. Show it to me. Mm-hmm. Show it to me. I remember I was about to fail a class. There was one class in nursing school I was about to fail, and it was like five questions, and there would have make or break if I pets, but there was three that of those I missed 5 questions, but of the three, there was three they could have went in a way,
Yeah.
either way. But all during the semester, I would talk to my professor. She said it's so weird. I know. She said when I talk to you, I know that you read the information. I know that you know the information. She said it's just not transitioning to the test. She said
Yes.
you are stressed. She said this is not
Yes.
about what you know.
Yes.
And so it got to the end of the class, and I was right there. And one thing about me, I tell myself like I can be known to be dramatic, but I always say I'm not dramatic. I'm animated. And so like when I tell you I do not have no couth when it comes to like me being worried. I just be who I am.
Yes.
I was in that classroom when I found that I had not passed that exam. I just laid out on the floor. I'm not gonna lie to you. I laid out there when she looked down. There was two. It was me and this other girl. And she was, and when I tell you color don't always have nothing to do with it, yes, my professor was white. Yes, I'm black. Yes, the other student who had failed was white. One of us passed, me.
Right.
When I tell you I laid out on the floor, she said, well, Rachel, let me see what I can do. I just laid there. I didn't say nothing else to her. I just laid there. I don't even know what hit me. It just took me there. I could not take it because I felt like they was going to in nursing school, they so strict, they will put you out. And I was like, I was not playing that. And so there was teachers that were trying to keep grades from me, but this wasn't the one. She had tried to help me I had done well in all these classes, but this one, and then this was the class that we had all had to retake anyway.
Yes.
So we had already, the whole class had retaken it. We would have like tests out of 5 different chapters 5 different books, and I don't know how many chapters every week. It wasn't nothing but God that got me through that.
Yes.
But I just laid out. She looked at them questions. She was like, she said, "Now this one right here." And I got every time she said something else, I pulled myself up a little bit more. I wasn't even trying to front. I had all I could take.
Oh,
and so it worried her, honey. And
so
she
funny.
found 3 questions, and those 3 questions is how I passed that test. And that's why you sent her before.
Work
and
it
I
out,
hope
Lord.
you
Work
hear
it
me.
out, Lord.
I can see her face, but Lord, I hope you are still blessing her here today. I'm sure He is, because she was a good person.
That is so funny.
You had the opportunity to work and travel to many cities. How have these experiences broadened your perspective and influenced your career path?
Yeah, so I have moved several times. Like I said, I've lived in a lot of different states. But each time I moved, well, probably 90% of the time was for my job. And so I just wasn't afraid to, I knew that for me to move and do what I foresee that my career was going to go. And sometimes I had to move. I couldn't stay in one place. So the first move, the second move, I was like, okay. And it was my son's senior year in high school. And I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing to do, is to move your son his senior year.
No.
And so we worked it out. I was like, y'all stay here, y'all finish. I'll go ahead, to Dallas and work, and then we'll work it out on the weekends. I'll come home and all that stuff. And they were like, okay. And then we toyed with him going to school with his cousin and another state. We just threw all these ideas around about our family. And so about a week go by, he came in there and he was like, Mama, we need to move as a family. We need to move as a family. I will be fine. I know it's my senior year. I will be fine. We need to go as a family. Ain't no splitting up, going this way and that. We all gonna go together. And I was like, are you sure? He was like, I'm positive. So we moved, and he had a great time. We loved Dallas. We did love living there.
I love Dallas.
But each time I moved, I met a different group of people that to this day I'm still talked to, close to, So every city brought something different. And I can say that each experience living in different states, you learn different people, you meet different people. But I have something there either for my career or personal that I can take with. Some people, like I said, still in contact with. Some people really good friends. Like I wasn't even looking for new friends because I got friends, but thought I've been knowing them and grew up with them all my life that I've met. And so I just thank God for the experience.
Absolutely.
And to be able to meet different people. And we don't know. And then 2 of them, I always say, I didn't even know I needed you in my life. I'm like, right, I wasn't looking for no new friends, but guess what? Here you are right here. Now I can't imagine not having you in my life, So we laugh about it all the time. Like, where the hell did you get here in my life? Because it's those later in life friends that you don't think, that you'll meet people, like that. But definitely every city I've lived in that I've met people, and something that will help me in my career to grow as a person. So I just say do it.
Absolutely.
Don't be
Absolutely.
afraid. And I know it looks scary to move where you don't know anybody, because I did not know a single soul in Dallas. I was like,
No.
okay, we're gonna go there. Don't know
Absolutely.
nobody, but you know what? God worked it out. And I just always tell people to just go. You know, just do it.
Absolutely.
Just do it.
Absolutely. And what I was listening, what I heard is, as a mother, the heart of a mother would literally inconvenience herself before she ever even thinks about want to, you know,
Shake up your
shake up
roots.
her child's roots. Like we will. I mean, like she said, I was gonna fly back and forth every weekend from Dallas, and I have lived a travel nurse life, so I know what it's like. When she said, I know what type of commitment that takes, because you
Yes.
spend most of the time in the airport. And I used to think I wanted to be a jet setter until I was spending most of my time in the
In the
airport. I was like,
airport.
no, maybe not.
Yes.
But we will do anything just to keep everything smooth
Yes.
for that child and our
Yes.
family.
Yes.
And but what I love is that when you're like that, you raise children like that,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they give it back to you. They give you that same
Absolutely.
love. And like she said, her son was like, "No, we're moving together." He put his self aside. But that I always say. Like even with my son, with his sister, when she was going through things, he was going back and forth to school because he wanted to make sure. And my he don't really like the baby. That first night, when I came back home and she was there, he even slept in the bed with us.
Aw.
Like he does not play. And I said, if I ain't did nothing else right, I done did right by these kids.
By these kids.
And I said, I thank God for that, because that's what I always wanted them to know. Like even when I'm nowhere around, y'all family, y'all got each other.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so I love seeing him show up like that, because I know that if anything was to happen to me, that they gonna be down for each other. He don't play about his little sisters and his cousin, and they don't make no mistake. They don't play no games about him either.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I love that. Like when as a parent, when you do it right, be an example of what you want your children to do. Don't say it, show them.
Show them.
And then that's what you'll get.
Absolutely.
And then what my daddy always say, he said, children bring you joy, but that's one way they bring you joy. If you've been nice and you've been kind and you've showed up for them,
Yes.
then they do all those things for you. They're nice, they're patient, they're kind, and they show up for
Yes.
you. If you haven't been nice and you haven't been kind and you haven't been patient with them, then you're probably going to have some experiences with them where they're, because that's not what they know.
That's not what they
Think
know.
about it as a bank. Whatever you put in, you're going to get out. If you
Yes.
ain't put that in them, why would you expect that to come out? That's not
Right.
the relationship that you built with
Exactly.
them.
Yes.
And you don't want that to be your testimony. You don't want that to be your story. So think about that. You're not always going to feel like, but think about what your future. Don't think about your here and now. Think about how you want to be treated in the future.
Yes.
And then put that into them. And sometimes they kids. Be strong enough and be kind enough, because that's what they deserve.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
That's what
absolutely.
they deserve.
Absolutely,
And so that's
yes.
one thing I can say in parenting. Like that's important. You're not going to be your best every day, but do your best and give it to God. And what I can say, even with me, is just even when I see myself, I'm like, God, I need joy. I'm the only adult figure in this household. I need them to see it. I get, and when I tell you, he loves when you think about somebody else but yourself.
But yourself, yes.
And he will give you exactly what you ask for, just because it's not just about you. And look at you,
Right.
you get to be happy just because you're trying to be happy for somebody else. And when I tell you, I love it.
Yes, absolutely.
So, as a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, how has sisterhood and service played a role in your personal and professional development?
Absolutely. So I have been a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated for 30 years. I love my sorority and love serving alongside my sisters. So the work that we do is amazing. I'm never bored. It is always something to do, and it definitely has. I say this: each city that I move to, you kind of have built-in friends, because that's what I do. I call, hey, I'm new in the city. I moved here from such and such. They're like, oh, okay, let's go eat lunch. So they take you around, and so I didn't feel alone even when I didn't know anyone. I can always call my sorority sisters and say I'm new in the city. And they show me around. Welcome, come over here. You can eat with my family, things like that. So I appreciate how Zeta Phi Beta has the network that is provided from the different cities I've lived in, but also the sisterhood, but more so the impact in the community that we've had, where we live. And our motto is, we're a community conscious, action-oriented organization, and we are. So we are out here, elder care. We try to hit the whole entire family.
Absolutely.
And so I just love the programming of our organization, and all of the D9 do great work. It's collective. We joke around with each other, but at the end of the day, we work together on a lot of initiatives. But I totally love being in my sorority and the work that we do. I'm very proud. I'm the president of our chapter right now.
Yes.
And we got chapter of the year.
Congratulations.
We got chapter of the year. And so very excited because we have put in the work to make a difference. And so definitely, yes. So I love it.
Absolutely. I'm not in a sorority, but I will say this. When I was in school, I was more so focused on trying to get stuff done. But now in my adulthood, like she said, what I've noticed that, and I'm considering, because you can join as an adult.
You sure can.
And so what I've been considering, I said service. Once I start understanding the path that God had for me to serve, then you say, okay, how? So you find, because he don't just give you something and then you be like, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. You find a way to do that.
Yes.
And so that's why I'll start looking into and thinking about getting into sorority, because they do, like she said, the whole D9, they do so much service. And I love that. And it feels fun to give back. And I know that through doing and so if I can find a sorority, which I know I can, that give it, because they all give, like she said, they all give back, and that is what I'm interested in doing. And not only I like to do it. It was like that's why I love. Anytime you start doing something that you like to do anyway, I said that's the best of both worlds. Just this week. Monday, my best friend was going out of town, and my best friend is like my sister. I don't have no sisters, but she is my sister. And so we were with my daughters in the Sowing Seeds with Faith program, and they had the angel tree and we was wrapping gifts. But I knew we weren't going to be able to see each other during Christmas. I said, best friend, come on down, we're going to help wrap these gifts. And when I tell you, we had a ball, and we was helping, doing stuff. You can literally have fun by helping other people.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I want to keep telling people, do something for somebody else. I guarantee you, you will have a joyful life if you do something to help somebody else. If it's always about you, always about what you need, you're going to be miserable because you're constantly looking at what you don't have and what you can't get and this, that, and other. It's just a negative point of view to have. But when you're busy finding ways and finding what you can do for other people, and you will find joy in that. And so I always, that is one thing I will probably be looking into, because like you said, I've watched her serve and do stuff like that. I said, my guests, they are role models for me. I choose women that I watch their lives to be role models for me. And then her spirit, so it's not just what they do. Like she said, every time I see her, she pretty much has that same, she always has that same spirit. But and even sometimes it's just a high and back as we both run, but that spirit is still just there. You know what I'm saying? That happy, you can't hide, I kid you not, you can't hide joy. It's even if you don't say a word, people can feel it. So that's what I do love about Sha-Rese, that you can just feel it.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I love telling people, because sometimes you wouldn't, because it's I'm awkward as a person, and sometimes I wouldn't have an opportunity to tell people things like this. And you want to tell people what you appreciate about them, so that they know that who they are and the work that they're doing is showing up. And keep it up. I love it, because people do need you where you are going and where you are. You are a devoted wife, mom, and super aunt. How have those roles shaped your heart, your priorities, and approach to purpose and leadership?
Yes. Oh my God. So y'all know I am super family oriented.
She is.
I love my family. And I didn't physically birth my son. My husband, when I met him, he had him, and so I wasn't able to have children. But the Lord was like, "Don't worry, we're gonna send you one." So, and my brothers and sisters very generous with their children. Listen, any weekend that I wanted a child, I could have one. And not just one. They'd be like, "Oh, you got y'all's kids? Let me send mine over there." So any given time, I have 5 to 6 kids. So, but I love being a mom. I love being an aunt and a wife. I feel like that's the core of who I am as a person, because everybody knows I'm the go-to aunt. If they need something, they know they can call me, good or bad. I'm the one that'll get them out. Listen,
you
what
hear
happened?
Me? Yeah.
Let's
That's what
talk through
family
this.
does. You hear me?
Don't do that no more.
Uh-huh.
But definitely, I always laugh because there was a meme that says the oldest child thinks they're the family manager.
And he is. And he
And
is.
so, if you ask my brothers and sisters, they would tell you that I'm the bossy one, even though I don't think I am, but they would say I'm the bossy one. But I do, and I get on their nerves because I'm OCD too. They laugh about that as well. But that they need me. I'm gonna tell you that now.
They do.
They need me. They
They
need my
do.
bossiness. They need my OCD because I keep us in line.
Right.
But it
Absolutely.
does shape your leadership because of how I plan. I'm a planner by nature. So planning family events, and that's how I am at work. I'm a
Absolutely.
planner.
I'm a planner.
Yes, yes. So, I enjoy being with my family. We do a lot together. You rarely
Right.
see us not all together.
Uh-huh.
And so, of course, we worship together since I've moved back home,
Mhm.
back in the same church. And so we just try to support one another. And I feel like that's
Absolutely.
through my family is where I learn love and support. And that I've given to
Absolutely.
my friends, to my sorors, even people
Absolutely.
at work. So
Hmm.
I've made great connections with people because, we spend what 8 to 10 hours a day
That's
with
just 12
people at
hours.
work.
Yes,
They
that's my
become your
friends.
family.
Yes.
So I met people at work who are now like my family.
Uh-huh.
But you learn that because of the foundation of love that I found that my
Hmm.
parents instilled in me, my grandmother, of how we approach family. And that's how I approach my friends. That's how I approach
Hmm.
work in that same manner. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's pretty much how my foundation is my family.
Absolutely, absolutely. My foundation is my family too.
Hmm.
And like she said, just what you learn with your family, I put in my friendships and even my
Hmm.
work relationships at work. But I
Yeah.
always say, when you good with me, you good with me. It don't right or
Yes.
wrong, I love you.
That's
Listen,
it. That
right
is
or wrong, honey.
it.
Listen, I love you. You're not gonna tell. I don't care. Listen, I'm not gonna let you sit there and talk about my people like that because ain't nobody
Exactly.
sitting up here going down the list of everything you done
You
done. So
did.
absolutely
Exactly.
not. You hear
Right.
me?
Your name
And
will
so
not come up in a room and I'll be like, who?
you
Oh, yeah, I
hear? Yeah.
know her.
Yeah, you hear me? I do not play that. Listen, and I might be right, but we not gonna do that. You hear me? Because I don't like. Look, I love my people, and so I'm like it. Like she said, I'm like it with my real family. I'm like it with my church family. I'm like it with
Yes.
my people at work. I was
Yes.
telling my brother last night, like I moved to a different role, but I miss my other family so bad.
Yes.
And I think because I
Yes.
move around so much now, so I'm still building relationships because I'm gonna talk.
Mm-hmm.
If you start talking, I told y'all how I am. If you talk to me, I talk to you. So I
So
don't really
talk
have
back.
trouble meeting friends.
Right.
Them I was with all the time. And so I'm building
Mm-hmm.
friends here. And like she said, as a travel nurse, I have people that I can call anywhere and I
Yes.
will call them.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
call me when they come in town.
Mm-hmm.
But like them, I had people that I would be in the office with. And I said, there would be days I would just be crying at my desk. And I didn't even, they might not have known, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they had got so used to me when they'd be like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. They'd be like, I don't think you are
No, you're
today. And
not.
they would just hug me. One time I remember one of my co-workers, which was also a church member. I love my church sisters. When I tell you I love them with all my heart. Um, I don't. She probably don't mind if I say her name, Christy Washington. But I always tell you I love my whole church family. But I loved her grandmother. But she was like, Rachel, I don't think you are today. And when she said it, like a tear just started, I just
Up
started
there.
crying. I mean, it's just out of nowhere. And I'm so prideful that I normally wouldn't do that. But when people
Yes.
come to your family, I just
Yes.
broke. And she
Yes.
just hugged me and held
Yes.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I needed that. And
Mm-hmm.
you know how people give you stuff that you didn't even know
You
you
didn't even
needed.
know
I
you
didn't even
needed.
need it.
You
And
needed the
even
hug.
the
Mm-hmm.
other A&M, which was my friend, her name was Tara. I miss you, Tara. She probably ain't gonna hear, but I love her too. But even she knew, she was just like, I love Tara. She was
Yes.
always on my side.
Yes.
But even the ones that I work with at night, like sometimes even when I wasn't speaking much, I was just glad that they were there. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I didn't, I might
Mm-hmm.
not be talking that
Mm-hmm.
much because I couldn't, but
Yes.
I would just be
Right.
glad that they were there. They became my
They
family.
come
They
your
were because I've
family.
spent 12 hours with these people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
don't sit in the same room with my children for 12 hours. You know,
Right.
these are my family. You know, I love them. Look, all
Exactly.
these nieces and nephews that will maybe never meet me. But honey,
Right.
when I tell you I done sent a prayer up to God about them and whatever they got going on, I kid you
Yes.
not, honey. I done war
Yes.
the Lord about them.
Yes.
So I
Absolutely.
definitely understand this.
Yes.
Okay. With your education, travel, sorority life, family responsibilities, and faith foundation, what message do you want to leave with young women who are watching and aspiring to build a life of impact and excellence?
Seek God
Absolutely.
first because a
That
lot
is
of things look appealing to you, you know? And so you can't do everything. You need to do what God wants you to do. Because if not, you would find yourself going in circles like, but I wanted to do this. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a teacher. I want to be a police officer, whatever that is. But is that the path that God wants you to be on? And be open, because some people got so set on doing one thing that they don't missing the blessing in something else, because God will deter you into something else. I did not think about being a professor right now. Like, I've been here for 14 years. That is not where I thought I was going to be. I just knew I was going to be a CEO or in finance. Like, that was not on the list. Yeah. But when I was like, okay, the door is opening. Okay, God, I'm going in. I'm here, and I love it.
Love it. And you love it.
Yeah,
And you
14
love
years.
it.
I never stayed nowhere 14 years.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
But you got to be willing to listen to what God is saying and be open to the change. And learn as much as you can. I tell people that learn, don't ever think that you don't never stop learning. Learn as much as you can from people. Be discerning, because the devil will try and know what, do not get off your path. But know that you can have it all. You can be happy. You can have love. You deserve love. You deserve to be happy. There's no part of life that says you're supposed to be miserable, because you're not. That's not what God wants for you.
That was never.
God is love, and He wants you to be loved, and He wants you to be happy. He wants us to be fruitful. He wants us to be cheerful. He did not want us to have a life of despair and constant anguish and sadness. That is not even of Him. So I tell people that if you live in a life like that, something's wrong. You are not in the will of God.
You're not.
Because in Him, I'm not saying the test won't come, but in Him there is joy. There is joy. You can be happy. And so that's what I would tell a young person or a young woman, seek God, but don't be afraid to go after or do those things, because you can have it all.
Absolutely. 100%. Everything you said, it pretty much explains why she's in the position she's in, how she is the way, why her spirit is the way it is. But when I tell you 100%, I agree with everything. Seek God in everything. I always say with me, sometimes you think you know what you want or you know what you like, and you don't even know yourself that well yet. I be like, I remember when I got there was this dream job that I wanted, and I got there and I hated it. I was but I learned a lesson. You know, I said, Lord, I don't even know what I like. I said, help me with that. I said, show me what it is that I like. I told my mother the other day, I said, I was in and y'all forgive me, I just be real honest. I was in a relationship 12 years on and off. I said, and by that time I realized I just wanted to control the narrative and make it work because I wanted to work. I said, I didn't even like him. I was so surprised. I was like, I don't even like him. What is going on? I don't like his character. I was like, I don't like him. I was like, 12 years. So when I tell you I'm giving you advice from a place that I am not judging you, it's sister to sister. Yes, I'm just trying to help you not to waste your time. Now, I dated in between her because, like I said, on and off. But I will tell you, what if I didn't have to go back on and off? But maybe I need to go on and off so I could come here today and tell you, see God. Sometimes you think you know and you don't even know. That's it. And then, like he said, sometimes God presents and things that are from Him. Sometimes, you'll be like, when you first run into it. But when God shines the light on you and you be like, I love this person's character. I love how they are. I love the work that they do. And so you'll see a different light in somebody else or something else. Even with my job, I never thought that I'll give people advice if they ask me, but I don't really want to tell people what to do. And so when he gave me a role of leadership, I was like, no, what do I look like telling somebody what to do? And what do I look like? Because I always felt like authoritative meant like strict, but I'm not strict. So that's not me. At all. But then I learned that even my little personality was needed. Sometimes He'll put you in a position because you are considerate, because you're not strict. What if you're working with the people that need grace because life is already hard for them? So He'll put you there just for you. He knows who you are. You might not know who you are. You might not know why you fit there, but He knows. So seek Him in every place that I have went. that God has sent me to has worked with me, has tolerated me, has loved me, has been kind to me. And I thank them. And I still love my people from my other job. I love my new people that I'm meeting at my new job.
Yes.
But absolutely seek him in everything that you do. And then, like she said, God's will for you is not to be miserable. We always talk about the fruits of the Spirit. If you're listening to yourself, and I want you to listen to yourself sometimes. Are you complaining most of the day? Are you constantly talking about what's not being done? Are you constantly talking about what somebody else is not doing? The problem is not with them, it's with you. Go inside. Why am I not happy? Why, Lord, I know that my mom has this friend and she said, hunt for the good. I'm going to hunt for the good in the situation. And so I say, one thing I tell myself is I always flip it. I say, Lord, I know that your will is for me to do good. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to go through things, that there won't be tests, but I know it's going to come out in my favor because you promised me. So let me learn whatever lesson it is that I need to learn in this. Lord, let me see it from your perspective. Let me see, because I was listening to somebody fuss the other day and they had completely missed every blessing that they had got because they were so busy fussing. They were too busy fussing about something that didn't even matter. They couldn't even see that they had everything that they needed and it had already been provided for because they was worried about the wrong thing. And so I said, Lord, help me with that. And that was one of the things that I would pray against because I like to be happy. You know what I'm saying? If I have a choice in it, I'm gonna be happy. I'm always gonna be joy. One thing I play with God about, I be like, Lord, I said, if you don't give me joy, I can't give it to others. I said, give it to me so I can give it to somebody else. And so I thank God for that because, like I said, anything He know you gonna give to somebody else, if it's gonna be helpful to somebody else, you can believe it with all that you got that He gonna give it to you. And because the fruits of the Spirit are joy, kindness, patience, and so on, good things. And so you should find yourself doing that not just here and there, but on a daily basis in each and every last relationship that you have with each individual. And some people you might have trouble with here and there. I mean, right now I'm in a good place, so I'm not really. But I ran into that? Absolutely. I pray for them and go on. And what I will say is, when God says vengeance is His, God says vengeance is the Lord's. When I tell you, there was somebody I was working with, and she had did something to a coworker of mine who was trying to help me. I said, well, Lord, I don't like it. And do you want me to fix it, or you gonna get this for me? And when I tell you, I said, Lord, and you don't curse people. What I told her, I said, Lord, give us something to do. Because she was mailing and being messy. I said, Lord, give us something to do. When I tell you, that lady called in, not that day. When I came back at night, called in for the next week. He gave her something to do.
Give her something to do.
Give us something to do.
Out of my face, Lord.
Gotta out of there. You hear me? And I mean, out of there. And so I said, I don't curse people, but I will. When I tell you I give everything to God, I give everything to God. And He does not play about His people. You don't have to worry about, you I always say, my mom had me read a book called Psalms 91. It was a book. I can't remember what it was, but it was from Psalms 91, and they break down everything in it. But it's basically talking about the protections of God. God got you. You ain't got to worry about it. And one of the favorite things that I like Bishop T.D. Jakes says is that God gives you problems to bring you closer to Him because He's already, and then the Bible always says that a way has already been made. He's not making a way. It's been made. It's done. He said, so wouldn't that mean that you really never had a problem? So I told you heard me? So when I told my brother last night, I said, I was upset. I was worried about something a couple weeks ago. He said, Rachel, start at the end. You're not going no way. So why? And I don't use the law of attraction because I don't do anything that's outside of God. But it's kind of the same thing when you say, the only thing is the law of attraction removes God, and I'm not against it. It's just because it removes God. But with God, He said, speak. The power of life or death is in the tongue. Speak what you want. Speak it. So I speak that. So and when I set my mind for it, because whatever's in my mind is gonna come out my mouth. I said, and when the Lord said start at the end, well, if I ain't gonna go anywhere, I wasn't going no way. Then that gave me a different type of peace. I'm not worried about it because it's already worked out. It really is. It really is already done. Because once Rachel decided. I've waited. And one thing my friends, they'll laugh about you because when I tell you I don't cry, I'm the wrong person to play chicken with. I mean, to the end of it. You hear me? To the end of it. I'm the wrong one. And when I tell you I've watched God, and when He tells you something, you ain't got to worry about it. Is it going to work out in your favor? After He told me that, I obeyed Him. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Every single time He's worked that situation out for me. Because I was able to go into it calm, believe in God. When He told me start at the end, Rachel, I believed Him, and then it calmed my spirit. And then as He calmed me, it was already done. And every time he has
Yes.
consecutively done it.
Yes.
So
And he
I
ain't
want
gonna lie to
to,
you.
he would,
He ain't gonna
what my
lie.
daddy say, and he's not man that he can
You
lie.
can't
You
lie.
hear me?
Yes.
So I thank God for, our foundation. I thank God for my guest, Sha-Rese, today. Thank you
Yes,
so
we
much for
honored. I
coming
love
on.
it.
I was so
Yes.
happy to have you. And like she said, and to my future guest, she said, I love your little setup. When she seen it was just a phone, come on. It's
Yes.
so, you will be so calm. I think people think I got this big old camera, and one day
Yes.
I will. But even then, I wanted to feel just like it does with this phone.
Yes.
So I thank God for coming, especially on the day after Christmas, especially when she's on break.
It's
I
okay.
respect. I have a couple of teachers. I have another educator that's coming on, and I completely understand, baby. It's long after you dealing with other people and having to help them. It's a lot. That's a lot of weight.
It
So
is.
thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And it was a privilege to have you.
Yes.
And until the
Yes.
next time, I love you guys and see you later. Bye bye.